Whoopsie. Hello, Dental World. This is Tommy with 26L Dental Builders, here for two reasons. One, to bring you some content on dental construction. The second is to help us stay sane in this crazy world of dental construction.
So please make sure to like us, subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube at 26L Dental Builders.
Thank you, Veronica, for that. So I'm here with Veronica and John, both from the team. And you're probably wondering, well, who are you people? We are a construction management company. We manage construction for dentists all over the U.S. We do the day-to-day stuff so they don't have to, which is like 100 plus checklist of things in a construction project. So how we got started was I worked for a family company for 20 years. And after family tragedy, I decided I wanted to do something different. So just that started the journey with the DSO. Got hired on with them and met John while working there, and yeah, it was a cool deal. So what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about the bidding process.
Where's your little button? Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. This one? No, it's
No.
crickets. That one?
No. That one.
Getting closer.
Let's do it again. Today we're talking about the bidding process. Yep,
That's how it's very important, but that's how much we dread it.
I know. Even we dread the bidding process.
Yes, it's so
I know.
complicated.
So after somebody like John, John gets you your floor plan and it's
A
a bang
beautiful
up.
floor plan. Beautiful.
I mean, he put the architectural stamp on it, man. Like,
He made sure that the hooks were on the wall.
I mean,
Y'all
you
are so
got
sweet.
gold handles, glass, seamless glass everywhere.
Oh gosh.
Then it's time to, hey, here, I got the floor plan. It's time for bid. Like,
Thanks.
oh shit. Okay.
He gives us a 7 to 8 page floor plan.
Yeah, so we get the bidding documents from him, and we go to the bidding process. So there's a whole lot to go there, and so we're gonna run it down fairly quick, but they're just key points. So you're gonna want to get 3 bidders minimum, but keep in mind dental construction is a very it's a small world.
It's like a niche.
It's a niche. Dental construction is it's kind of a niche, but it's a small world. Everybody knows
Everybody.
everybody. They know who's bidding this project. They know who's doing this project. I mean, it's just the way it is. So you try to get 3 bidders, no more than 5, because sometimes bidder A doesn't want to bid against bidder B. Sometimes bidder B doesn't like bidder C, or you know just sometimes they're like that's too there's too many people bidding. It's only
That's
3 bidders.
that's the first thing they ask me when I send
Yeah,
out. So
yeah.
I'll call the bidder. I'll ask them if they're interested. The first thing they ask is how many are bidding the project. And sometimes I have to say a little white lie and say 3 because eventually, once everybody gets the plans, they'll say, hey, I'm too busy. I can't bid. Well, out of the 5 I sent it to, now there's 4. Then I'll send a reminder, hey, the bids are due. No response. So out of those 4, now we're down to 3 bidders.
Yeah, and typically she doesn't have to do that and give a little white lie because I mean, typically you know, there there's people that decline for whatever reason because they're too busy, their bandwidth, they don't have the capacity for it. Um, it's too small of a project. We've
Yeah,
heard that lately, right?
sometimes. Yep.
We've heard that's odd. So typically we don't have to do that, and we don't really like to have any more than 3 anyway, because 5 is too many, and you're not gonna get any better numbers with 5. I know what you're doing. You're looking for the smallest number. Of course, we do the same thing when we do our own construction, right?
Our own projects, yeah.
Our own projects, but we want to look for the lowest number, but that's not always the best case. A lot of times, we want the best scope of work for the money. The biggest bang for your buck, right?
Yep. Just because it's a lower price doesn't mean that there's not going to be any change orders that
Yeah,
will get you right up, next to the
yeah,
number one bidder. I mean, I'm sorry, the most expensive bidder to begin with. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's surprises in every build, and so those are kind of things that we monitor also and look
a,
at. But
a
yeah,
lack of a work scope can
yeah,
definitely give us a big
Yeah.
red flag saying that there's going to be a lot more
Change orders.
change orders is going to take place, which is going to drive up the cost
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah. So, you know, speaking of that, I mean, in the bidding process, you know, we turn over, right, a set of drawings, right, you know, to the contractor, something like maybe John's put together. And John puts so much detail in there because it's important to keep everything apples to apples as much as possible, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean to save me time in the process as well, because
Right, all the RFIs.
right, if there's minimum amount of RFIs that are coming back to me, then that's great, and if it
That's
takes,
a win for you.
and if it takes a couple extra notes here and there to kind of give them a heads up as to what we're expecting, then
Yeah,
that saves everybody time. So
true. That's true. You know, speaking of RFIs, who's going to answer the RFIs?
We do.
Well, we do when we handle the project, but
Right.
if you know, this is for people to be able to do themselves, right? So you get a plans from a designer, and you're going to turn them in to somebody. You have to decide, like, you know, who's gonna answer these. Is it the designer, the
And
architect,
what's an
the
RFI?
consultant? Request for information.
Okay.
So yeah, there's no set of plans that are perfect.
No.
There's always RFIs. It could be 8 pages. It could be 108 pages, and there's always RFIs. That's just the way it is. And so somebody has to answer those. If you're trying to manage the thing by yourself, then you have to answer those because you didn't want to pay the architect or designer to do that as part of the scope or
Which
deliverables.
I don't
right?
blame them because sometimes they're very expensive.
Yeah, we do that. I mean, we answer that or we get the answers for them when we do it. But if they're doing it themselves, they have to get in front of that, right? You know, same thing with permit comments, right? I mean, so somebody's going to answer the RFIs, whether it's the architect or consultant, you know, because there's so many consultants out there that help with space planning and design and stuff
Sure.
like that. So,
yeah. And without that construction background or experience, that's a little bit difficult to be able to
yeah.
answer questions that can dramatically affect cost of the overall project. So
Yeah. I think we had a guest just drive up.
Really?
Should we invite him in and put him in the hot seat about RFIs
General
and
contractor?
stuff? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We should do
I
that.
think we should do that.
Okay, go get him.
There's
'cause
enough
you
whiskey.
can make him come
so-
inside. Yeah. While she's getting the general contractor to come inside, you know, you're going to want to do some things. You're going to want to enforce a strong bid due date.
Mm,
You're going to want 2 weeks, if at all
Mhm.
possible. It's getting harder to enforce a 2-week time period. And that's just because contractors have work, but the subcontractors, the guys doing the actual work, are flooded with work, and they can pick and choose what jobs they want.
absolutely.
So it takes them long to get back to people on the bidding process and stuff like that.
Yeah, you end up finding a good contractor, a good team. You
Yeah.
definitely want to,
Yeah.
hold on to those as long as you can.
Yeah, there's some good ones out there. I mean,
yeah,
shoot,
there are.
we've worked with in the Northeast, you know, in the Carolinas, right? Best in the business out there is Chambliss and Rabel. I mean, we got, you know, some really good guys here in Texas. I don't want to say because there's a whole bunch of good ones. In California, right? You know, we got Blue Northern Builders. I mean, they're a solid team. They have a higher price point, but I mean, you're gonna get a freaking bang up job from them. I mean, you know, you can look those guys up. There's no favoritism when we're getting out for bid, and they know that.
Yeah.
And they're fair about it. You know.
Consider your deadlines. Consider what they offer as far as a work scope, and if it fits into your requirements or your what you're looking for as far as a builder, then it's all preferences, right?
Yeah.
Of course, if we're handling, for instance, your project, of course, those recommendations do come in, and we're not biased.
No, we're not biased.
We're,
There's no
we're,
favoritism.
We're focused on choosing the best person for that doctor. So.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Oh,
here
there
is the
comes a
GC.
contractor. Oh man, we got a contractor
Perfect
here.
seat, perfect
Put him in the
seat.
hot seat. Oh man, hold on. Where's my thing here? The contractor's here. All right. So this contractor is an old friend of mine, Albert Moran. He does a lot of photography and stuff like that, but he's also a general contractor because starving artist.
There you go.
Like the rest of us, right?
There you go.
Right.
So let's ask him about. It smells like cigars in here.
He just came from a cigar bar.
I was-
Dude, that's
Cigar.
awesome. Yeah,
Yes,
I can't
sir.
do that anymore.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
I'm
what are we
off
gonna ask
topic.
him? Yeah.
Might be headed there next.
off topic.
All
Yeah.
right.
So, okay. So we're asking about
RFIs.
RFIs. You get a set of plans, right? You do some big projects.
Hmm.
So he does a lot of big city government projects. Um, you get like RFIs, and that you have to ask, and that you set up the chain. Some of them are really ridiculous because there's no set of plans that are perfect. That's what I'm trying to find out. Have you ever seen a perfect set of plans?
Never.
I don't
Never.
mean to be leading the witness. Or
Never. No,
Never.
I have not. No.
There's
No.
not, and that's what we're talking about during the bidding process. That some of these dentists want to manage everything themselves because they're hands on, and I get it. I understand.
And you save money.
You save money because there's so many. So let me start here. There's a lot of consultants out there, right? And there's some consultants that are startup consultants specific, and they do a little bit of everything, right? They do a little bit of your startup in the business, setting up the entity, doing your credentialing, doing your marketing, doing your back office, front office, all of that stuff. Doing a little bit of construction, like helping with the bidding process or negotiating like fee schedules or dental equipment, right?
Sure.
Where we're specific to dental we're construction specific.
That's
So
our
when
wheel.
we look at a set of plans, we know what questions are going to pretty much come up ahead of time. When we look at and when we get the RFIs from them, we like pretty much know that was coming already. But it's what we get from like the designer John and the architects.
Right.
That
Well, and then also too, how do we discern what is short-term savings, right?
Yeah.
And what's going to be long-term? So
ooh
another thing to
man.
think about, because
yeah
it may sound great. Yo, I'm saving all this money, right?
Yeah.
But long-term,
long term
maybe you might need to add that
yeah.
feature or
Or that extra.
that extra
Room.
Well,
little
like,
bit
so-
of
We're talking about something like solar, right?
right.
Solar is like a long term thing that over time will pay itself back, right? Or
Sure.
spray foam, right?
Oh yeah.
A lot of the bills we have to go back and put spray foam because they have bad insulation, right, on their ground up or something, and we're telling them like, dude, you should do spray foam. Or if it's a tenant improvement and that's gonna have an open deck, we're like, hey, do you want to see bad some insulation up there? I mean, if I was you, I'd do spray foam anyway because it's gonna be better off because you're gonna need something. There's an upgrade for that, but a lot of times it's what's drawn in is bad insulation. That's part of the
And
VE
you
process.
can use it for storage.
What?
Right? Up there. Up at the top.
Well, yeah, depending on where that falls in, but like if I'm saying like an open deck,
Oh, yeah,
and like what we did at 1031. So, I mean, there's different things. You probably, have done things that are part of the bid process. So do you follow? So as a contractor, do you follow like do you get like a I don't know, like you don't get the bid, but do you get like a work scope or something so like, hey, because I don't see why you would be expected to like follow like the plans, like, hey, this room here it's gonna get this cabinet and that sink and blah blah blah. But you kind of know more or less how many sinks you're providing, how many cabinets you're providing, and what cabinets are going where.
Or the plug's not going to be behind the cabinet.
Yeah, we run into a lot of that. There's a disconnect though sometimes between the construction out in the field and engineering, architect of what actually happens in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Not calling out anybody, but I'm just
Or-
saying
or-
it's general.
Or
No,
it's,
you-
or,
No,
or it's
it-
process,
it's-
or it's stage,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the way
and
that
it's-
things happen.
It's like, okay, well, we have to constantly go back to the
Yeah.
to the drawing board or to the
Mhm.
engineer or the architect and say, hey, look, hey, this is not going to work. You have to come up with something else. This is not going to work. There's a table there. There's
Yeah.
a wall there. There's okay.
The
There's a wall,
doors.
and you want a
That's
plug here.
structural.
Yeah, that's structural. We
can't
can't
open
move
that.
that.
Yeah,
That
that's-
behind it looks like a wall, but there's cement behind that. We can't. I mean,
Yeah.
that we can't move that. And a lot of what I hear a lot from some of the people we have to work with is, well, means and methods,
Means and methods.
and it's
Oh,
like,
wow.
well, that's you figure it out on the job, and it's like, well, hold on,
Yeah, hold on.
wait a minute, no, that's not how it goes,
You're the one with the initials
Yes,
that's going to be ultimately responsible for it.
exactly.
Yeah,
You're the
because-
one that went to school for this. You're the one
Yeah,
that no,
yeah.
I need to clear this through you first. you
Yeah.
know?
But as actual guys that have done the work ourselves, we know how to fix it. But nowadays, you can't just do it without somebody being responsible for it like we used to do
Yeah.
in the old day, right?
Yeah.
And that's primarily what we do is finding solutions, right? I mean,
That's
we could have
correct.
named our company Solutions, Dental Solutions Management, or I don't know, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because finding solutions is what's key. Going back to the architect or designer to say like, hey, it's different. We find the way to make it work, but we try to get ahead of that stuff in design. But it's like you say, it goes out in the field because you're doing like big government, and city projects,
Mhm.
where
There's a lot of codes
that-
you got to
and-
follow.
that
and
piece
some-
of paper goes from a lot of hands before
Right.
there's a decision
Yeah.
made.
And some of those times, they're not even specialized in those types of practices.
Mhm.
So that's another thing too. It's same thing that goes with
Yeah.
with us. We prefer to be dealing with or using companies that are dental specific, right?
Yeah.
And that are
So
used to
It's usually better.
to that. I mean,
It's-
not to say that we wouldn't use anybody else
No, no,
because
no.
it comes to quality of work and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, that
Mm-hmm.
makes us make the best decision.
Yeah.
But I mean, definitely, I can see that because most of the time, when there's difficult situations or there's discrepancies, right? Come
Mhm.
to find out that whoever is coming up with these plans or
Mhm.
whether it's engineering may not be well versed in the particular type of project that's actually
Yeah,
going
they're reading
on.
a code book. They're going by a specific set of what they
Mhm.
did for.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really good experience. There's a lot of good designers out, a lot of good
Absolutely.
architects, just like you, John. But it's
Where's
the
your
different
drum?
It's
Right,
no, hold on.
But
But it's different. It's different when we're in the field, right?
Or the
yeah,
clubbing.
absolutely.
We're in the field, and we get a set of things or a set of plans, or I mean, shoot, when we make our site visits,
Oh my gosh.
did we get off topic?
We
Oh,
did.
No, we
But
did it.
look-
But at the same time, that leads into another great point, is because if
Yeah.
we're the ones actually going on site for you,
Yeah.
then
we get ahead
that's
of that.
where that value we get
I'm gonna
ahead
tell
of
you what,
those issues.
80% of the time, you don't ever know about it because we're not somebody to go do a football touchdown dance, in the end
No.
zone about doing our job.
Yeah.
Right?
That's correct.
That's right. We just
We keep the doctor out.
80% of the time they
Yeah.
don't know. Now sometimes we put on a report, but it just looks like a line, like you're just reading like a description, but you
Yep.
don't know what it was that we resolved or what we solved. Right? Same thing with you, right?
Correct.
Everything right now is just a bunch of freaking paper
Yeah,
back and forth.
How
Yeah.
quickly can you handle problems before the problems actually are aware to everyone else? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. And well,
Yeah,
I don't.
I know, right? It's hard when you're on camera and you're on the mic. You
Yeah. What I want to say is like,
It's
I
a hot
don't know.
mic.
It's a
Yeah.
hot mic.
It's a hot mic.
Hot mic. Yeah, John
But
got
I
in
mean,
trouble last time.
sometimes you have to improvise in the field.
Yeah.
I mean, because doctors on a timeline,
Yeah.
everybody's on a timeline, their schedules to meet, and
Mhm.
you don't have time to wait for
And
The
hence-
10 people,
engineers, yeah.
people to get
Yeah.
revisions to you.
yeah,
right?
it's just like, no, that ain't gonna happen.
No,
We're gonna
because-
fix it right here.
Yeah.
all those people, all those 10 people, or even 8 people, have 10 other jobs
Yeah.
that they're working on that have the same or different issues. And if it's, they'll get to it eventually on their email, where I guess we just grew up in a different time where we get something and we like to answer like right away,
Mm.
Yeah.
get it done, right?
Yeah.
We like to problem solve,
we don't, well, I mean, problem solving is part
Yeah.
of our thing. It's like
Yeah.
we don't like to find problems,
but
but
that's what we do.
well, that's what we do is, yeah. I mean, yeah.
We create solutions.
Yeah. That's
There you
another one.
go.
We're going to get t-shirts made.
Yeah, we create solutions in the field.
We
That's
need to
right.
Talk to our person back there off camera and tell her to make solutions. So yeah, I mean, there's always questions that come up. I'm looking at my list here because I forgot. Yeah, we have the VE process.
VE is value engineering. What's
so
in the
value
walls?
engineering. So like you put in like metal ducting and you put in fiberboard, right? You call out cast iron and copper for domestic water or sewer, and you put in PVC or PEX or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's
Less
part of-
expensive.
yeah, part of the VE process, right? But you have to what we talked about in our other podcast, which is depending on what kind of building you're going into.
That's right. You can't value
you may
engineer.
not be able to do some of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some, the government jobs that you do. I mean, it's like no, it's cast iron and copper.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, right?
Yep.
None of us small guys that do little 15, 2,000, maybe 5,000 square foot,
Under $1 million.
Run that. Where's that? Give me slide over that PVC and PEX. Where's that MC cable? You know, you got those rows of freaking flexible duck everywhere in the parking lot. They're trying to spread.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's part of the VE process. You got to see if there's any ways to VE your project during the bidding process. You're going to have to ask them that, but you're going to want to keep things apple to apples at first. You know, how many pages are the jobs? Sorry, how many pages the bid? A one-page bid is usually not a very informative bid. You want some description with some line items. We have a very particular way on how we do it.
Millwork is the biggest.
Yeah,
Line
millwork is a big line item. The trades are also not speaking for tradesmen, but I am one anyway. But there's special features you want to make sure they capture. You want to compare numbers against each other. Like I said before, there's a particular way that we do it on the bidding process. And after you do all that and you ask questions and you go through with your consultant or you go through with your architect or you go through it with yourself, then you're going to want to flip a coin. And,
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And you never always go with the lowest.
Yeah, not always the lowest is the best.
Never go with Mo.
The lowest bid.
Yeah.
There's particular. I need to take a drink. Keep talking.
So, yeah, you never go with the lowest and you try not to go with the highest.
Hit the middle ground.
Yeah, that's right.
That's good lemonade. Yeah. Okay. I think that kind of covers the bidding. I mean, if there's any particular questions you want to know, because bidding could last for hours. These are just the bullet points of what you could do. Leave a comment down there or reach out to us, and we'll get you an answer. This is geared to help you guys. So
We'll flip a coin to see who responds.
yeah, right. We'll get the contractor to respond.
I know, right?
Hold on. Oh, damn it. We gotta label these damn things.
I know.
Okay.
Buddy,
All right,
thanks
guys.
for joining us. We
Thanks for
appreciate
joining
you
us.
coming.
We'll see you on the
Anytime.
next one.
That's supposed to be an
Anytime.
applause.
We
Look
have our
forward to
first
it.
guest. Maybe
Where's
we'll
the
have one on the
applause?
next one.
Where's the
Oh.
applause?
Applause.
Thank you. Appreciate that.